All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Rikishi Driver Talk Show. It is November the 29th, 2020, and man, I'm still stuffed from this turkey of Thanksgiving a couple of days ago. So listen, it is very cold out here in Los Angeles, California. As you can see, I'm fitted with my Samoan Dynasty fit gear there. And there you go, my blackout visor hat. And I want to say that this episode is powered always by Knox Pro Entertainment. And also, I want to thank our brand out there, Samoan Dynasty, and also the Blackout Fight Gear. So make sure you bump on over to Blackout Fight Gear. You got the website, you know it already. If you haven't got you a gear, if you haven't got you, an Ultimate Oos t-shirt, a Samoan Dynasty t-shirt, a hat, they got it all over there. And also, you can go ahead and just check out all the gloves, anything fight, from MMA to Muay Thai to boxing. It's your one-stop shop, and it is quality at its best. But listen, I want to talk about, I got a very, very special guest here tonight. And one of the OGs that's been in the industry for a while. In this business here, you run across the boys, wrestlers. And, some you kind of mesh with, and some that you just don't want to have a damn thing to do with. But this Uso right here, this legend in my book, I want to say, a future WWE superstar. A future WWE Hall of Fame. I don't know why he's not there yet, but he should be. And also, he's a very close Uso to our family. Spent a lot of time with my uncles Alpha and Sika back in the day. Also with, all of us, Rodney, Big Sam, Reno, TK. And I want to say this to go on record, man, that, he was one of my mother's favorite wrestler, meaning the person, not the gimmick, but the person, And she seldom invites people over to the house. And when my mother invited him over to the house to be able to, have some Samoan food and, hooked him up with lavas and took care of him like he was her own. And I knew then that, that this cat here was validated, not only in my household, but in the entire family. So with further ado, I would like to respectfully introduce my friend, my Uso, David Heath, known to the world as Gangrel. David, what's going on, man?
Man, I almost started crying when you started talking about moms.
Man, that music right there, man. Every time I hear, before we even came on the air, I'm already just bumping already,
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Sorry, my dog is barking back there. He knows you're on, man.
I haven't seen him in a minute. He's probably all grown up now. Or did you get? It's the same one you had when I left out there, right?
Yeah, he's a
puppy then.
Yeah, Cody's
about at the park. We went out for a little picnic, and he's at the park. He's just a little puppy then, tiny
little
puppy.
He's about 5 years old now.
Yeah, that's about right.
He's growing, man. He's just another bill here at the house.
I understand.
Hey, man.
I
So
understand.
how are you been, and what's been going on with you, man?
I'm good. I'm living. After I left LA, came out there. I went back to South Florida because of the grandbabies and stuff like that. So doing good. I'm down here where I was born and raised. So back home grinding, kind of where I know the streets and stuff. And putting work
Right.
in. Yeah.
And how you dealing with all the pandemic and stuff, man?
It's a little tough, in our industry and everything, and getting up there in age. I'll be 52 in
Well,
was it
shit,
February?
you still look good, man. You still look
I
good.
started, I started, I started young, man. I was 33. I started when I was 17. 33 years this past September. I was grinding.
Wow.
But yeah, a lot of work cut out and dropped out with it and everything. Florida, we're one of those states where they ain't shutting nothing down, but it's like Palm Beach County up. I'm in Broward and Dade County, and where I'm at is in Broward. So it's really hard for us to run anything. We can only have like 75 people. We have to put things 6 foot apart in like a 350, 400 venue. So you learn, you adapt, start doing virtual stuff. As you've probably been out there. A lot of virtual signings now and stuff like that. I thought we turned the corner on all this stuff, but then they just started like this past week, right before Thanksgiving, and that's why all this stuff canceled on me. That's why I tore Thanksgiving up. I heard you talking about being stuffed. I'm still stuffed. I was walking down to the beach today, and my shadow had love handles again. I was like, oh man. Well, yeah, it canceled everything. Wisconsin, Indiana. I was supposed to be in Vegas. Speaking of your moms, I was supposed to be out in Vegas this weekend, and everything shut down last second. So I'm just doing what I can do. Idle hands are the devil's tool. So I just keep grinding. I try to stay busy because you know me well. I'm a person. My mind, it'll start getting to me and eat me up. So I gotta keep pushing and being positive. So doing a lot of charity work. Got a toy drive coming up. Just did a epilepsy foundation or epilepsy awareness show. So doing what we can on some live like that. What we can work with as we're trying to grow down here. But it's not easy. I do apply a lot that I learned from Reno. A lot of branding, and yourself, Reno, it's helped me a lot. I can tell you, it's helped me to survive the branding. Man, if I learned anything from y'all, it's that branding, how to brand and market. Speaking of that, you got that blackout gear looking good out there, Sloan Dynasty. Got it on point, man. So yeah, so like I apply all that, and that's helped me survive a little bit out here.
So David, I want to tap onto something. In this show here, I kind of, people know who we are as far as, in our industry, and sometimes it's like the relationships of what they want to know about. And I mentioned earlier about the relationship with you and my mother, and you and my family. Tell me to walk the viewers down and the listeners down that road.
Man, but tell you what, don't go out with TK. That's what I can tell you, because you got me in trouble with your mama, man. Like, I was supposed to go to church with her. I went to play bingo with her. I love playing bingo with her. I never played bingo or any of that. And she taught me how to do the electronic bingo and stuff. I go with her. I never won anything. And every time I went with her, I hit a jackpot.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But TK, I was supposed to go to church one morning, and, TK, like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. Next thing you know, the sun's coming up. And I said, we got to get home. I'm supposed to be at church. And then we run out of gas. And then I had to call your mom. Like we're a mile from home. But your mom's, I love your mom. I still do. I think about her all the time. When I hear you talk about her, I see you post something, it brings tears to my eyes. She's been she was so kind to me and treated me so good.
Well, Dave, she loved you, man. I mean, even though I remember that day clearly when you
because you were in Mexico with Reno.
Well, I got heat because my wife at the time, for some reason, I guess that night when you guys went out, it had it had celebrity sightings. So it came out on the newspaper the next day, and they said Rikishi was in this bar, blah, blah, blah. I guess DK had one of my gear on, my leather gear or something. So I got home and my wife was talking about, did you did you
I remember.
go to Mexico? I said, well, yeah, where the hell do you think I'd be? I went to work. And then she said, well, she threw the newspaper right there, front page on celebrity sightings. And I knew exactly what it was then.
One club, he was Rikishi. The next club, he was Yamaga, rest in peace. He said, hey, man, don't worry, just go with it. I said, I can't be doing that, man. I ain't saying nothing. I mean, it was a good time, but I was more worried about getting in trouble with moms. Missing church. Supposed to get to church.
TK all day. I'm sure she prayed for you after that. So, so take us down the road about coming into the family, the Dynasty family. How did that relationship start, David?
Well, I'm not quite sure how Alpha took me under his wing, but I can remember one of my first experiences was with you and Samu. Like you and little Sam to Sam. So I had a tryout, and so I don't know. Alpha was already. I don't know. I can't remember how I met Alpha, but it kind of, how sometimes I think he liked Luna, right? And how all the island guys and Samoans always look after the ladies, right?
Yeah.
So I think through her is I met Alpha, but then I had a tryout, and you and Sam were there, and I had met y'all lots before the Samoan Strike Force back in like NWA when I used to do stuff in Techwood Drive and stuff. What was it? Georgia Championship Wrestling or whatever it was, right. NWA. I met you back then when you do Stone Mountain and all that, this and that. But we hadn't really, you guys you just scared me back then because Sammy would always have that pineapple and look like it'd be frozen. Hitting people in the head with that pineapple. I'd be like, oh no, just give me the Road Warriors. I don't want the Samoans. They put the name on the boards up there, right? So I had a tryout though. It was in WWF, and I had one, and then you invited me out, and Sam, and then all night, I like Luna just shook her head at me because I was trying to hang with the big boys, like my first thing. I don't even want to bring up what we was doing. There was so many popping, so many digs, and drinking so many bottles of tequila. I thought I was gonna die. So it was in Pennsylvania somewhere because I think we had to fly out of Scranton, so it was a little airport. And so like the tryout happened, and I hung out with you and Sam all night. And I remember Luna just shaking her head when I came in, but I was hurting. But little did I know that next morning I was on a plane with Pops, Alpha, and Vince McMahon.
Oh shit.
Smelling like tequila. And I don't know what I took, but definitely smelling like tequila. Like I know Alpha, he grabbed me by my ear, son. He pulled me by my ear, drugged me when we got off the plane with Vince. It was a little private plane. I got to the other airport. He drugged me through. I might have been Philly or somewhere. He drugged me to the next gate. Hollered at the poor lady, the stewardess, make sure he gets on the plane, and it put me on the plane. I ended up laying in a week in that apartment. I actually turned out I had alcohol poison. I haven't drank tequila since. So that was the first one, and Alpha, even though I acted up, like he he just always looked out for me. So every time I come up, but I would say I lived in the basement for a while. When I came back from Calgary, I went to Memphis, and from Memphis, '94, I went up to Allentown. So I went there to go train some more. I trained in Stampede Wrestling, and I was trained by Boris Malenko, then trained to Stampede. Then I wanted to go train with Alpha, so I went to Allentown, and then I was there. I lived in the basement, and then ended up helping run the school for a while, just a little bit, just being the extra helping hand and stuff. Yeah. So then ever since, it was just like from there. Then we've formed a relationship, close to pour alcohol down my throat. And then on and on to then Reno. It's really, really, really good friends with Reno. And of course, the Count to California, Black Pearl. And then I moved out to LA, and then we ended up opening a school together out there. And
yeah, well, you and Reno, I mean, I know that our whole family, we all love you, no doubt. But, out of all the Samoans, kind of you and Reno kind of meshed real good. And by the time I came back, when you guys were actually running Knox Pro back in the day, while I was living in Vegas, and when I came down, I remember the time when I walked into the office at Knox Pro, and it's like the same, like, I was moving there now. And it was almost like you gave me that hot tag, like, All right. You know what I mean? I said, what are you talking? Ah, man, that blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. And so it's been, it's been a long relationship between us, not only personal with the family, but business wise. And, you and I know, Dave, like, in this industry, we see a lot of smokes and mirrors.
It's all smokes and mirrors, yeah.
Right. And then there's only certain people that that you mesh together like they're real like that. And that's why we've always loved you, and we've always accepted you as part of the Usos, part of the family here with our family. And not to mention how much we love Luna. Tell us a story. Tell us how did that become you and Luna?
Man, I was wrestling we had a character called the Blackhearts. Was doing it in Stampede in Alberta, Canada for the Heart promotion. Was doing a show in Florida. She was on the show and she came up. She goes, "Oh, I love that character. That's great." I'm like, "Whoa, what was this?" Now I've met her before at Florida Championship Wrestling. Like she was in the ring. I was there just doing extra work. Show up, get beat up or whatever. And she was in the ring, and I remember her nose got broken and it was bleeding everywhere. And I was sitting in the locker room and I could hear her growling down the hallways. And then she kicked the door open and she stared at me. And I was looking around and she said, "Fresh meat." I was like, I tripped out. Brian Knobs and Savage, right? So I went behind the Nasty Boys and I hid behind the Nasty Boys. I said, "I don't know what that was." They go, "That's just Luna. She's okay. She must like you." I'm like, I want nothing to do with that woman. I was scared of her. I was terrified. And then I don't know, not 6 months go by, ended up, gotten like almost my partner was infatuated with her. He loved her to death. And he goes, "Hey, Luna, believe it or not, she wants to manage her. She wants to come down and train, wants to give you a ride." And I said, "I'm not giving that crazy girl a ride anymore." But he talked me into it. I go down there and she was into more than Jesus juice. I don't know what she's on.
Right.
She was growling and prowling and howling and and then I gave her a ride. I had to drive her car, and then on the way down there, she crawled across the front seat and ripped my shirt off, started beating me up. Like, "Why don't you like me? I'm trying to drive down 95 in South Florida." She's in the, "Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me?" I didn't know what to say. I was scared of her. I didn't know what to say. I was just scared of her more than anything. And then I got down there, and then I was training, and then she came in there and jumped in the ring, and she bit me in the back, right in the center of my back. Bit me. That's why I tell everybody she's the original vampire. But she bit me in the back. I wanted nothing to do with this lady. And actually, I rolled out of the ring, and I got a little bit of a temper. I had a little temper. And I kind of grabbed her up and had her up by the, and I was, and there's a guy there, Rusty Brooks, and he goes, "That's Dick Slater's old lady, that's his woman, and it's a girl." And I go, "That ain't a girl. That's a creature. That's a crazy stuff." So he talked me into letting her go, and then I went out there, and she was driving a Volkswagen Rabbit. I remember to this day, I kicked the mirrors off the car, kicked the side of the car. Oh. I went out there and beat her car up. Before that scar healed on my back, she was my best friend, and we were together, and we spent 18 years together. So that's why I say, when she bit me, she turned me. She was the vampire.
Damn, that sounds like, if any producers are listening out there, that sounds like a movie, a sure bet right there, man. And so how did I notice that you were out there in Japan, David? How did that? When did that happen? And how old were you when you went to Japan?
I think I was 18 the first time, or just turning 19. Oh. That was all Japan. So, like I mentioned earlier, we're doing a Blackhearts character gimmick out in Calgary Stampede, and Tokyo Joe was booking for New Japan at the time, but he introduced us to, he liked the character a lot. He introduced us to Jimmy Suzuki, and we talked a lot. Nothing was going nowhere. And believe it or not, when Luna met her, when she saw the character and wanted to manage and everything, she put her 2 cents in and pushed it with Jimmy Suzuki more, and he pushed it to Mr. Baba, and then Giant Baba, Mrs. Baba and Giant Baba. And then we ended up getting a tour of all Japan. So I did 2 tours there, and then me and my partner had a falling out. And keep the story short, I got detained for attempted murder on him in Philadelphia behind that Denny's. Yeah, I lost it a little bit. I told you I had that temper. And then, they let me go though after they talked to him for about 20 minutes and realized, yeah. Right. But Yeah, so he went back with another partner, and they ended up getting beat up. So I think I was like 19 and 20 on my first two trips, or 18 and 19. And then I did like 14 or so. I don't know how many tours with the IWA, with Victor Quinones and them and all that. And then I finally, in 98, earned a spot back in All Japan as just Dave Heath, just trunks and boots, no vampire, no mask, no nothing like that. And while I was on that tour in 98, WWF. So.
And how was your experience? How was your experience there? Finally, you know, in the industry, we all want to make it and get to at least one time to the WWF, WWE. How was your experience when you finally got there? Like, all right, I'm about ready to make some money. I'm about ready to do this. How was it?
It might fall under them smoking mirrors. In my bracket. No, I didn't, believe it or not, and I think you know this, like, I didn't want to go because All Japan had offered me that job. And all I wanted to do was redeem myself at All Japan. So it's probably Luna kept saying, please, you got to go there, you got to go there. So they told me they had a contract waiting for me because they had to know. They said they had to know I was on this tour. And Giant Baba had offered me a year contract to tag with Bobby Duncan Jr. And we were going to make us a tag team. So this was the same tour. It was Steve Williams' last tour, and he's going to start WWF for the Brawl for All. Remember when he came in? I was on his last tour at All Japan, and I remember talking every night with Luna, like, well, I just want to kind of stay in Japan because, you know, I'd already been WWF. If you remember, like when I met you after that tryout, they actually, I guess I didn't get too much heat with Vince. They didn't hire me, but they started flying me to all the TVs, and then at one point they let me wear a mask, and I was just giving tryout matches at one point. I'd sit in the gorilla position. They go, all right, go give him a match. Come in. So like I did good. So I kind of, I don't know. I didn't know what, I wasn't sure because the blinders are kind of off because I would listen to Luna and all the negative sides. But again, there was a lot of positives too. I'm not knocking it at all. You know, I owe wrestling everything. Wrestling owes me nothing. I owe it everything. I would have been in prison or dead in my hood. I grew up Deerfield Beach. They call it Third World now, off Third Ave over there. Yeah. And a 10-year-old will shoot you and gank you just as quick as a grown adult over there. So I grew up in a little rough area and stuff, you know. So wrestling saved my life and got me out of there. So then when the WWF came along, Luna talked me into it, and then so I said okay. So I told Mr. Bob and him no. I came home, and then it wasn't an actual contract. It was like they were offering almost like a developmental type of deal or something. And then they up and then gave a base salary, but then they said, "Oh, you're not going to work for a year. We just wanted to sign you." I'm like, well, wow. All right. So like they had me lose. You know, I lost weight and grow the hair in and all that stuff. I get rid of the vampire teeth. And then Vince Russo, I think there was a time that they gave Vince Russo like 30 days of total control or something like that. Well, he called me up. So I was on that contract for like 2 weeks or a week or 2 weeks. And he called me up and said, "Hey, can you still do the vampire thing?" It was on a Friday night. I'm like, "Man, they had me get rid of the teeth and do this." He goes, "Can you do it or not?" I go, "Yeah, of course I can." "All right, you fly out tomorrow." Oh, okay. So I ran out the Hot Topics. That's when I ended up with that puffy pirate shirt there. I thought, I don't want to be a pirate. Like a Seinfeld episode, and the shirt and yeah, there it is, that puffy pirate shirt right there. So ended up with that and everything, and got there, and then Vince Russo had this stage entrance, and they had asked me about music or what I thought about music, and that music they came up with that from probably midnight Friday evening to Sunday morning. They came up with that. Like they came up with it. Yeah. I told them about the song from the Toadies, Possum Kingdom, and I think a lot of people don't realize that beat. They slowed it down and remixed it and tweaked it and made it their own. Like I tell people they don't hear it, but I hear it because every time I'd be down in the bottom of that elevator, I'd hear that. I could hear it kick in. But so it turned out with the entrance, the fire, the character, the blood spray, turned out to be like actually a perfect storm. In a blessed day with Edge and Christian. There, Edge always on my right, Christian on the left. Turned out to be just a perfect storm, and so they started me as Gangrel, working against Edge because they didn't know how to bring him in. They struggled with him. They wanted to call him a riot. They wanted him to kind of, remember when Heidenreich would read those poems on top of the thing, and stuff like that. They kind of wanted him to do that. He actually He actually said, no, that's not me. You know, good for him. You know, because who knows what would happen if he did that. Then when I came in, they had me working, but then they told me when they were going to do the Brood thing, they said, we're going to put you all together, but we just need you to make sure he blends in with all the guys. Like, let everybody, like, don't let him get beat up. Don't, whatever. He's our guy in the future. We're invested in him. It wasn't Christian or anybody else, you know, not me or anything. My job was just to blend him in. And I accepted that because Luna had already took away the gray area. I knew the black, white, business, bullshit, you know, boom, boom, you know. So like a lot of that, I think maybe some of the mystery and the fun was taken out of it. But at the same time, I think that's why I'm still here today doing what I do, because I understood that, you know, maybe I wasn't an aggressive enough business person when it came to my characters and stuff like that. I was a little bit too nice, laid back, on whatever you want. And that's on me. But I learned that kind of late in life. Now, I don't think it's too late, but I've taken everything I've learned in the 33 years now and applying it to my craft and my business and what I'm trying to do now, you know.
Well, you know, man, listen, that Brood deal that you guys did and that entrance, you know, that was like main event stuff. It was fresh. It was brand new. And I think no sooner after, I think that we started to do that later on, the Too Cool deal.
Ooh, right, shortly after.
And I think that you know that kind of popped up during that time about us running together. And before you know it, you weren't around after that. Right? I was like, what happened to her? And so, but you know, again, you know, that was one of the hottest damn entrants, man. That crew right there was money. It was main event status, you know.
When I did the Edge and Christian show a while back, like a year ago, so Edge was like, you know, I don't understand why this happened and why they do this. I go, well, answer me this. I go, when people come up to you when you do your signings and everything, what is the first thing they ask you about? He goes, the Brood. They always bring the Brood up in the music. I go, okay. How long, Adam, how long were we together? Oh, a year. Yeah. No, man, 8 months. 8 months on and off. We were together 8 months. Now imagine 8 months, just 8 months, just 8 months of that TV. You've already been the rated R superstar. You've gone on and all the things you've done, world champion and all, Hall of Fame, right? People still ask you about the Brood stuff, right? I said they had to break us up. We had too much momentum. There would have never been you. It was my job was to shuttle you in. There, if you 8 months, they still ask you about the Brood thing. What if you stayed in it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? You'd have never had your own identity. It would have always been the Brood, you know. So I think it was a necessary evil. It was something that wasn't supposed to get over, but it was a perfect storm of everything. The fire, those two guys being tremendous athletes and characters, you know.
I truly know about that. You know, when they throw you something, you know, if you're not supposed to get over it, you get over. You know, you and I know sometimes in this industry, those that are nice, if you're listening and you're in the industry, there's sometimes that you need to be selfish. You know, and you got to know your worth. You got to understand when that opportunity comes around, you know, that might be the last opportunity you get. So you either speak up and go for it. I'd rather speak up and go for it and get fired than just to say, damn, I wish I should have.
Well, that's the Samoan way too. I know that as a Samoan or all business, people think, oh, Samoa, this and that, and they run around. No, man.
Well, we've hung a lot of we've hung a lot of promoters out the window back in our days, David.
Hey, I've witnessed some stuff in Australia.
So yeah. Hey, here we go. So Dave, how's the school doing out there in where you at in Florida?
It's doing good. We just moved into a new facility. It's just under 6,000 square foot. We're trying to get it set and primed to try to do TVs. We're trying to work things out. Your place looks amazing now. I love the production on it and how it looks on your Tuesday night shows. Tremendous stuff. Thank you. Looks really, really good. And so we got to get to that level of making that look good. We got like the things and stuff to do it. We just got to pull it together. It's a big place. It's really hard to do. But the students, I'm blessed. I think we have 30 30 something, like 70 on the like our enrollments. We have like 70, but at least 30 actively training, a little over 30. They're actively in classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Couple of them are breaking out, getting their feet wet. They were over there with Miro, I think, in AEW. A couple of them are just finally stepping out and getting a little looks at and stuff here and there. So kind of happy for them. But you know how it is with students. You see them come and you go. You can say you got 150. That don't mean they're around. You know, they come there and last 3 days and they're gone. Or they come 2 months and disappear and come back 2 months later. You're like.
Or when they come and they find out that 3/4 plywood in them steel posts they don't ever sell. You know, it's not what they thought. Uncle Sika
said, "This ain't no playground."
Jeez, man. So where can we get? I noticed you've been into like hot sauce and all that. You know, tell us about that and the product and your merchandise you got going.
Yeah, well, it's my favorite's the garlic hot sauce. We have the cayenne pepper and this and that. It really started as, to be honest, I was like learning the brand stuff. Like I pick up the branding from you guys out there, but the t-shirts and stuff to give away were more expensive than the hot sauces were. So I'm gonna tell you, the hot sauces came down to being less than $1 or 50 cents to give away. So with the Gangrel name, because I have the Gangrel trademark and registered now, right? So I have it registered, the full money. I have to have products. I have to have a sports product, a food products. I got to do the entertainment stuff. I got to go on. So I have to do all this stuff to show use and intent, right? So so the hot sauces was a thing that one of the categories that needed to show intent in, but it turned out to be like people love it, but I was using it for promotional stuff to give out because it was a lot cheaper than to give out hats and t-shirts, which you know is hard when you're swagging out all your boys and everybody, you know, and you're at these meetings and you're carrying bags of that. It costs. It starts adding up. And the hot sauces were more economical to give out, but plus everybody loved them anyway, so they're still buying them. So yeah, you just go online on the Facebook page or the website gwaflorida.com and you can find all that stuff and order all that stuff. Just put /shop or whatever. I don't know much about that end. I don't deal with all that. I deal with a lot of the training in there, like so with all those students coming through, like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm pulling my hair out with them. We got 3 rings, and it's just, you know, trying to keep all 3. It's like a 3-ring circus. You know, you turn your back, you got one clown. He thinks he knows something. Like outsiders, all my problems come when I let somebody in that's been trained somewhere else. Now I know what you mean when you say like cancer. Yeah, cut it out.
Well, because what happens was,
I'm learning. I should have been listening instead of talking shit back then. I should have just been listening.
Well, you know, Dave, is like, you know, we love the business. I mean, you know, we're when the kids think we're hard on them, it's not because we're hard because we don't like them. We're hard on them because we're trying to make them understand what this industry is about. And then when you have others that come from different places, you know, they tend to come in and kind of like act like, you know, they know it all because where they've been taught from. But, you know, you can learn from different trainers. You know, I always tell the students that today you have that simple gadget and it's called a phone here. And you can just Google your trainers, do your research and find out where exactly, you know, they've been, what have they done. Because nowadays, everybody from Blow Joe has a professional wrestling ring in their backyard. And the kids think it's just convenient for them just to go down the street and jump around there rather than go to Gangrel's, you know, asylum, which is 4 hours away, and get the proper training.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They can get on there and just order a ring right off their phone, put it in their own. It's so accessible now, you know, and it, you know, I hate to say things evolve, but things do develop and change, and you gotta get with the times and stuff. But that's one of the negatives of it, where all the fly-by-night schools, like I truly believe that schools, like, because it's not easy. You know, I have so much respect for Reno, not realizing all the stuff he had to go through to hold an office together, like in you, right? These licenses and people trying to call and shut you down, and and these are people that are not even legal. even have a business license, and they're calling on you in the wee hours, and you're like, what is going on? So all that stuff, you got to stay on point. It ain't free. It ain't free. It ain't easy. So I'm a big believer that all schools like should be union like licensed. You know, like you got to go through some more proper channeling and go through a certain thing instead of people popping up in the backyards for the love of wrestling and for the better of the person that's choosing to train, that they have a fighting chance and don't end up permanently injured or lose their life. You know.
Absolutely. Those are what I like to call PlayStation wrestlers. That when they come through, they come to any academy, you know, they think it's like what it is, what they see playing, you know, Xbox or PlayStation. But once they take that first bump, we hit you with that bump, and that plywood doesn't sell. Now it just got real, you know.
I still run the Samoan bump drills. They still run them.
We have to make them humble.
Yeah, the ones that stick around, they get it and they understand, and that's the ones you want. You don't want the other ones. They leave out 3 days. That's just better off. Good for them. Go find something else out, you know, and concentrate on the ones. Like I tell them all the time, I wouldn't fuss at you or say a word if I didn't care. I wouldn't even talk to you. I wouldn't even shake your hand. I'd just be like, all right, what's up? You know. But if I'm over there taking the time to say anything, but if I get upset, it's just because I truly believe you have potential, or there's something in you, or I just love you, I like you. One of the reasons, something there. I ain't wasting my time to come over there and fuss for no reason, or talk to you, or whatever it is, or give you life guidance, you know, because a lot of, as you know, it's not having a training facility. The young men and women, and it's they come from, a lot of them come from like broken homes or no families and this and that. You know, you watch them when they come in, they'll run over a girl to walk through the door first, or the elevator. They don't, you know, their manners and they have no idea about shaking hands or looking somebody in the eyes when they shake hands, or life in general. Just a lot of things. People were absent in this generation of raising them. Whether parents were struggling and they had to work, or they split up, or whatever it is. So you tend to find out that you don't have like your 2 babies or 3 babies at home. You got 30 and 40 of them that you're raising, young women and young men, and that you are a mentor and life coach. So you got to be careful with the words and things you say and how you act, because if you act a certain way, they're watching you and they're going to act that certain way. So you got to lead by example too. So, you know, it took me a while, like it's in some bad places throughout life coming in around. So it took me a while to get my head straight and to understand there's many ways to teach things and approach things and stuff. So everything's a learning experience for me every day, every class, even in my every day-to-day life, I learn something and I apply it to either training, professional wrestling, or just surviving one more day myself in this industry.
Well, you know what Uncle Alpha always used to say is, once you think you know it all, son, you're just learning.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you know everything, you better just quit. Yeah.
So yeah. Well, listen, Dave. Listen, I got one last question. Where can I see you got you a beer on there, a tap? What, you got you some beer going on over there?
No, I had one for a while, a lager. I had one, but that's super hard to keep up with distributors legally and stuff. So so that's not anymore. It was Gangrel's Impaler. So a while I was at a couple of sports bars, but now I'm working on a red wine and a vodka. So and bringing in a vodka guy. But the COVID with everything has been like a big Samoan drop to everything. You know, it's splat. So still trying to recover and salvage a lot of loose ends. So I actually have a meeting with the vodka guy this week. He's supposed to come by, and got a couple of meetings tomorrow with some other stuff. So I'm trying to work internally to build things during this time when everything's kind of, you can't run as many shows and stuff. But yeah, the beer has been kibosh for a while, but it was good. It was a good lager. It was nice. It was a light one. It was good, but it was very hard to get distributed. There was a lot of legal things to it, but we had it for a little bit.
Well, David, I'm so happy, like, just to be, I catch you every now and then, and your hustle and your grind don't stop. I see that you in a lot of stuff and doing and being out there branding your name, and I can't tell you so much like how proud I am to see what you are doing and continuously moving forward in everything in life. You're just a hard-working cat. As I said, nothing comes free, man. We got to get out there and get it.
Well, I'm still coming out from under that Samoan umbrella, that learning tree, So I truly learned from Alpha onto you and in Reno, everything that it's a 24/7 hustle, man. It's not just an attitude; it's a lifestyle. Can't stop, won't stop, fanging and banging, man. You gotta hustle, grind. Rust never sleeps, and I learned that, and I thank you in Reno and Alpha Pops. I still talk to Pops here and there because I got to go. I ride up and see that OG. Go give him I got to go give him his props and stuff because he's an OG. He's a triple OG.
Yep.
So and I go up there and I still talk business and stuff with him here and there and how to do things and try to pick his mind best I can. His health's been on and off lately. So, but everything, and I want to thank the whole family though. Like all the stuff I do now are bits and pieces of different things I've picked up from y'all, all the Samoan family, and a lot of it at Knox Pro. Under there, watching how things go, and then how to do that, and production value, and how to look at something this way. Don't always look at it as a wrestler. Look at it this way as entertainment, or look at it with this eye, if production-wise, for some reason or not. So I learn not to cage myself in my own glass case of emotions. You know what I mean? That glass box. I got to step outside of things, and not look at it as how I would look at it. Because like, if I'd have done things the right way, I'd have been retired. I wouldn't be grinding. Maybe I'd be grinding because I enjoy it, but not. But so I've learned so much, and thank you all for that.
Well, Dave, I want to thank you again, man. Thank you for taking us down this memory lane. I wish you nothing but love and success, especially health. You look like you're 21 years old now, and that body you got going on. So continue to keep moving forward, and I look forward to seeing you once this pandemic opens up. And know that we love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Oh, well, thank you. One love. I hope to see you soon.
All right.
Hello. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, wow. Absolutely wow. I'm so happy that got a chance to chop it up with David, Gangrel to the world. And, just by hearing his stories of life in this industry and what's he doing now today, it's motivation. It's motivation. I mean, you've heard what he's been through as far as in the industry, and being linked up with our family, and then on to the different things that he's doing as far as branding himself and jumping into hot sauce and the Wrestling Academy. And so I want to say this: if you are out there in that part of Florida, make sure you stop by and go visit Gangrel at his Gangrel Asylum. All the information is ticking below there of the screen here. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Rikishi Driver Talk Show. Before I leave, I want you to do me a favor to hit that like button and also hit that share button and share this episode to everyone. And also, I want to thank you those that has been donating into the Cash App. As you see the information right there to the top right, and we appreciate you. Make sure that you link up and also check out the Black Out Fight gear. Here it is. Got our Samoan Dynasty brand there as well. Make sure you check out the Ultimate Us gear, the hat, the Samoan Dynasty hats, the t-shirts. It's all right then and there. But this is my time for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a good Sunday, and remember, each one teach one, and it's free to be kind. Mr. Rikishi, and you have a good night.